Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Geekday podcast, where we turn your weekday into a geek day. I'm one of your hosts, Robert Tijerina, and with me we have the new face of the Geekday podcast and Miss Pop Sepsive herself, Miss Natalie Ibarra. How you doing, Nat?
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Doing all right so far. Doing all right. I've had a pretty
Pretty
good
good.
day. Yeah. And also with us today, we have the father and the dark soul, Mr. Dan Gomez. Dan, my man, how are you?
Big chillin'.
Big chillin'. I can tell with that beer.
Big
What kind of
chillin'.
beer is that? What are you drinking?
We're drinking a Venitus.
Venitus, is that
Very
like a,
fancy, old school German beer.
really nice?
Yeah,
Where'd you
very,
find that?
very
Like
good.
Walmart or not Walmart, like HEB or whatever?
Yeah, at Walmart. Yeah, no, definitely.
Walmart.
Nah, man, Total Wine. Shout out to Total Wine.
Really? Okay, might have to check that out. Well, hey guys, it's been a day. It's been a week. There's a lot of weird news that have come out that we're gonna talk about in a little bit. But before we get into all that sort of stuff, I just want to know, like, what have y'all guys been watching or playing, or what have y'all been doing this week since we've been gone since the last week? Nat, I don't know, like, what you been watching?
I actually have been watching a few pretty good stuff. On Netflix, they added a movie called The Old Guard, which is based on a graphic novel or comic book series, and it was really awesome. I highly recommend anyone in the chat and you too. Have you guys watched it yet? It's
I've
called
heard
The
a
Old
lot
Guard.
about it. I've heard a lot of really good
It's
stuff about it.
really good.
I saw the trailer for it and it did seem pretty interesting. But I haven't
so
watched it yet.
interesting. It's really good. Really great concept. You have this team that's kind of like they're immortal, and so you're kind of following them, and there hasn't been one in a while, and there's a new one, and so they're trying to figure out why there's a new person. And so it's you're kind of thrown into this world, but it's really good. The action's really great, and it's just a really interesting concept. I feel like nowadays we've kind of seen a lot of like redos, or just personally I haven't been really impressed with some of the movies coming out on Netflix lately, but this one was really, really great. Acting was pretty good, so 10 out of 10. How about you guys?
Dan, what about you, man? What you been watching? Or playing, or what you been doing besides work? I know you work a lot.
I've been working a lot, so I haven't really had a whole lot of time to watch or play much. But I've been, like I mentioned last week, I've been watching Hannibal. I was binging it a whole lot at first, but now that I'm on season 3, I'm kind of like, doing it one episode every other day or so, just to like enjoy it before it's over. And I've been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight, actually.
Really?
That's a game that my good friend Mark, shout out to you, Mark, turned me on to. It totally didn't seem like the type of game that I'd want to play, especially because it's already been out for a few years. I was just like, seems a little weird, seems a little But then I started playing it, and when you play with friends, it's actually a whole lot of fun.
Have you been doing the?
And I really do like how they preview. What's that?
I was gonna ask if you've been doing the competitive season. I know there's like a competitive aspect to that game, but are you just like doing the?
Oh no,
fun?
definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're just having fun. But what I was gonna say was I like how they take a lot of characters and ideas from pre-existing horror, I guess, media. Like you have Bill from Left 4 Dead in there. You have, I can't think of the guy's name, but he comes out in Stranger Things. The Demogorgon is one of the killers that you can play as. Yeah, no, it's really cool. Like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill just became a playable killer in the game. So, moderate horror fan, I can appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's really, really cool.
I love horror, so I've never heard of those. So
I hate horror,
Cool.
so that's great.
We need to have a horror podcast. We need to have a horror podcast now.
That'd be
Yeah,
really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I've been going ham on some video games whenever I'm not doing homework or stuff for the podcast. I've been playing
Roblox.
Roblox, yeah, mostly Roblox. A little bit of old school RuneScape. No, I've been playing a lot of Yakuza 0. I'm trying to get 100% that game. It's so much fun. It's so crazy, those games. Then also another game that's kind of like my relaxation game, or at the end of the night, if I'm just like I want to laugh or just want to have fun. been playing a lot of South Park Stick of Truth. I've beat that game like twice, but this time I'm trying to 100% it, so I'm like actually paying attention to like. I know it sounds dumb to like pay attention to a South Park game, but like you actually like, okay, I have to go find this collectible here. If I go past this point, I can't get that collectible, but it's still just like a relaxing game at the end of the night. And there's a ton of Valorant also. I play Valorant just to make myself angry. Like, why can't I be good at video games? But that's really, really about it for me. I don't really watch a lot of things now. Not really nowadays. I know Nat's been telling me to watch The Old Guard, so I might do that tonight actually. While
Nice.
after I finish up my homework. Yeah, I'll give you my report, Nat, for next time.
Okay,
like,
cool.
What do I think
Some people
about
in the chat said that it was good too.
Yeah, I saw Kiddo Granger. She was like, it's absolutely really great.
Yeah. And last name Louise said it was good too. Wish there was more action, but.
Okay, so then I do need to check it out then. Okay, so I'll probably watch it either tonight or tomorrow after I get back from Austin. But now that we're done with all that, I wanna introduce the chat to something brand new that we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be starting our own little game show here on the Geekday podcast. Just because I'm competitive, I know I'm very competitive, but I'm not playing today. I'm gonna be the judge.
You're Vanna White, basically.
I'm Vanna White. Yeah. I'm Alex Trebek and Vanna White in like one person. So guys, I'd like to introduce you guys to Geekday Civil War. So what Geekday Civil War is, it's basically a game show. It's a debate game show. Every week I'm gonna give at least 2 topics. This week it's kind of like one, but like split up into 2, where the contestants are going to be your fellow Geekday hosts. And so basically each person's going to have to give me their pitch and like why their idea is better. I'm going to give each person like 20 seconds to give their pitch, and then the next person 20 seconds to give their pitch. Oh yeah, it's going to be fast. So you gotta go like that. And then I'm going to allow a 20-second rebuttal for each person also. So Nat, actually, I'm going to go ahead and flip a coin right here. I want you to call what it is. If you win, you get to choose if you go first or second. So go ahead. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay, Dan, you win. Do you want to go first or second for the first
Okay,
one?
Cool. I will let her go first because I'm a gentleman.
Oh, so nice. Thank you.
So the first question for today, chat and y'all, is what is the best Spider-Man movie? This doesn't have to be MCU. It can be literally anything. Nat and Dan have both sent me both of their answers, so they're not the same, and I'm very excited. So let me get this timer out real quick.
And, wow, I was worried. I was a little worried that they might be the same. I mean, if he was right, they would be the same. But
okay,
they're both,
okay.
They're both very good choices. So all right.
Okay.
Nat, in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I believe, and I'm pretty much sure that majority of other people should agree, that the best Spider-Man movie is going to be Into the Spider-Verse. It has so much heart, and they really are just able to kind of bring Miles to life, and it's heartwarming, it's dark at sometimes, it's funny, and it's just plain enjoyable. And the thing that really like brings it to life is the art style and the animation, and it just makes it really special. Where they're able to kind of no.
I give you 30 seconds. I think 20 seconds is a little too much. So 30 seconds. That's what it is. So Into the Spider-Verse.
I get 40 then, right?
No, you're also gonna get 30. So good luck. Let's go. So Nat's Into the Spider-Verse. I like your idea, Dan. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds starting now.
All right. Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, it was his homecoming back into Marvel. It was taking a leap from Sony back with Marvel, back where he belongs. They built it off of the story that they created with the first Avengers movie, using the alien technology in New York. Michael Keaton as the Vulture. How awesome is that? The twist when you find out he's the dad blew everybody's minds. The technology, the relationship between Tony and Peter Parker is just
okay.
That's all I got. It's short, right?
Short,
you don't realize.
So now I'm gonna give y'all guys Nat, you're gonna get 30-second rebuttal. Why is yours better than Homecoming? All right, ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I know you mentioned Michael Keaton, but also Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has lots of really great actors. You have Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy. You have Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. You have Chris Pines as Peter B. Parker. John Mulaney even comes out in this, and each of these characters are able to kind of transform the movie throughout their different scenes. You have, serious characters, you have funny characters, and it's really just allowed us to show a variety of what Spider-Man has.
See, that's a lot faster, huh? It's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it had a little extra, more competitive edge to it. So,
Thanks,
all right,
thanks.
Dan, you get 30 seconds. Why is Homecoming better than Spider-Verse? Go.
All right. I just want to point out I love Spider-Verse, so I don't want to trash on it too hard. But one thing that I did not like about Spider-Verse is I felt like there were too many characters, and they only focused on, Spider-Man and Miles. And while that's totally the point of the movie, I get it. They could have done so much more with Spider-Man Noir, all the alternate universe Spider-Men and Woman. And the villain was just really lackluster, and I feel like he was not as compelling as Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
All right. So you guys both have your arguments here. I'm going to go ahead and read the chat and see what chat thinks before I give my verdict, because I think I have my verdict. I'm putting away all my bias. I love, these are both like 1 and 2 of my favorite Spider-Man movies, so it's very, very difficult.
I'll have to agree. I do think that Spider-Man Homecoming is pretty good.
When I got both of y'all's answers, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be really good. Okay, so Kiddo Granger says yes, super good. Jazz Jaw says not Andrew Garfield, so I'm glad both people did not choose any of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Kiddo Granger also says Into the Spider-Verse. Zach says, gotta agree, it is awesome. Natalie knows what's up. Let's see. Zach also says Homecoming is a close second.
Thank you.
Yeah, your brother has your back. Oh man, this is really. Nick even says Spider-Verse, but I think he's also got some little edge there too. So the chat's heavily favored towards Natalie.
It's all right. It's all right. Against the new guy, that's fine.
So I gotta base it off y'all's arguments, because if it was gonna be my preference, I would definitely, like, if my favorite movie, I would definitely go Spider-Verse. So because I love Spider-Verse. I haven't given my full verdict yet, so calm down.
Okay,
chill. But I also like the whole Michael Keaton thing. I like Dan's idea where he talks about that there's too many Spider people, which I really never thought about until he kind of brought up right now. Oh man.
I feel like we're like on American Idol or something.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Into the Spider-Verse. I do think that the story of Miles Morales is really, really cool. I think Nat really touched on that really well. But I do agree with Dan that there are way too many Spider people. But I think that there's just enough of Peter B. Parker and Miles Morales. Let's see. Jazz Jaw says Heath Ledger was the best Spider-Man.
My man.
All right. So round 1 goes to Nat. Nat gets 1 point. We're going to be continuing these points for forever. So actually, let me write this down because I will forget.
Yeah. Or chat also remember.
Chat also hold us accountable. So Nat.
So it's kind of like whose line is it anyways, where it's like the points don't matter because it's never going to end, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So y'all guys, chat, are y'all guys ready for the second question? Because it's kind of in the same vein. It's because we talked about Spider-Man a lot last podcast. I was gonna say last weekend, but last podcast. I just made both questions Spider-Man related. So this one is going to be, what is the worst Spider-Man movie? And again, both of y'all had spicy takes, and I was very excited to read both of them.
Should Dan go first? Because I went first
Nat went first last time, so Dan's going to go first this time. Dan, 30 seconds starting now.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's all I gotta say.
Really? That's it? You got 22 more seconds.
That's it.
That's fine.
That's it. Just Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not amazing. There. That's my.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Not amazing.
So let me go ahead and. You're sure you want to relinquish the rest of your time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to relinquish the rest of his time. Easy peasy. Even Jazz Jaw says Andrew Garfield throw up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jazz Jaw. You're my man of the chat tonight.
All right.
Or a woman. I don't want to assume.
All right, Nat. Are you ready? All right. 3,
I think so.
2, 1, go.
The worst one is Venom, and I have to say that when I saw this movie, I was extremely disappointed. It seemed like it was just this weird, bad trip with just humor that did not hit. You had Tom Hardy really trying to bring in the humor, and then you had, oh gosh, I can't remember her name right now, but the female protagonist, just super serious, and it just did not mesh well together. The action was lackluster, very messy. You could hardly tell the
So we have Amazing
You know,
Spider-Man 2.
I didn't even consider Venom. I completely forgot that was a movie.
Yeah,
Wow, Dan,
block
you're
it from your
not helping
memory.
your case, dog.
I know.
I saw your face immediately. You're like, oh man.
You're just like, yeah, she won.
Kiddo Granger says, "What? No, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy was great. That's debatable."
Kiddo Granger, you had my back earlier, but
All right, Dan. 30-second rebuttal. Why is Amazing Spider-Man 2 worse than Venom? All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
None of the villains had the same kind of essence that their comic book counterparts hold, and I feel like that's very important. Yeah, you can deviate from, deviate here and there, make it something unique for the movies, but if you deviate too far, it just loses that touch, and that's what happened in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Same thing with Spider-Man. He that was not Spider-Man. That was some skateboarder kid, wannabe cool guy who had no attributes of Peter Parker whatsoever.
Oh god, I hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. Anyways, okay.
Thank you. I
really hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. But Nat, why is Venom worse than Amazing Spider-Man 2? 3, 2, 1, go.
So, as I was saying, the action itself was just really bad, and they just had these really strange graphics that just did not complement the movie at all. In addition, Venom himself is really this kind of moody, sinister, dark, grungy character, and I feel like there was moments in the movie where they really shined away from that scarier aspect of Venom, which I feel really makes him who he is, and I did not like that at all. I felt like we were seeing a version of Venom and not the full extent.
Oh yeah, man, y'all are really doing it to me. Y'all guys are both like, I'm really impressed that I'm giving y'all 30 seconds. I didn't even tell y'all guys I was gonna give you 30 seconds before the show.
No, you didn't. Hey,
it's okay. Y'all guys can surprise me next week for whoever wants to do the questions next week. Man, oh god. Because I really didn't like either of these movies. I enjoyed one of these movies better than the other. I was really proud that neither of y'all said Spider-Man 3, because that movie is 10 times better than both of these movies combined. I actually really like Spider-Man 3, even though it's a dumpster fire. God.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh, God. What really sold me on Nat's thing, it's not my final judgment, was that she couldn't even remember the woman's name. I can't. Yeah. I don't remember what her name is. I remember two things about that movie. I remember Venom saying "pussy" because Tom Hardy did not want to jump off the building, and I laughed at that really hard. And then I remember the very end where Venom bites some dude's head off, but they cut it off because they want to be rated R. I remember everything about Amazing Spider-Man 2 just because it was just painful.
But did it make you smile or laugh?
It did not. You know,
okay.
I think it sells it. Dan gets the worst.
Yeah.
So
all right.
It's 1-1. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it on social media every time we do this. You're gonna see it on our Twitter page. We're gonna have both of these things, both of the answers for the Geekday Civil War on our Twitter. So if you guys want to get involved and see who's going to get the extra bonus point to win basically this, go to our Twitter. It's going to be down below at Geekday Podcast. And we're going to have saying, I think we should do which is the worst Spider-Man movie. Because I think it's going to be way too heavily forward towards Into the Spider-Verse for best one.
Oh yeah,
best one.
Yeah, Spider-Verse is definitely the better. But yeah, so we're going to do the worst one. So yeah, go ahead and vote. And whoever wins that, we'll give it a week. And then we'll just say, okay, that person wins that week. And then next week, we're going to have someone else. I don't know which one of these two lovely people would want to throw the question. But yeah, so it's the tie for this. If you always want to break the tie, go to our Twitter. But thank you guys so much, guys.
You know I'm gonna pay people
Oh,
to
I
vote
know.
in my favor.
Just mash that. Yeah, go ahead and give
I
us
Help
your
don't
your boy
have
thoughts.
to
out. Come
pay
on.
people. People will just vote.
Oh,
They'll know.
I don't. A lot of people really like Venom. Actually, Venom is
I know,
actually
I'm
Yeah,
seeing in the chat that people are saying Tom Hardy was great, but so was Andrew Garfield. Amazing Spider-Man was worse, so I
Amazing
don't know.
Spider-Man
We'll see.
is absolutely worse. But thank you
it
guys
is.
for enjoying this thing. This brand new thing that we're trying to do. I think we were going to do this very more often, and we might change the rules just a little bit more to, yeah, I don't want to make people sweat too much. But so let's go ahead and get into the news for the show. We are still a partial news show. So the first thing that
Yeah.
we're going to talk about this week is more stuff has come out of Ubisoft. Last week we talked about Ubisoft Forward, and they tweeted out something saying that they couldn't talk about specifically what was going on. But all the news dropped this past week, and boy, is it terrible. I'm actually gonna read a majority of this stuff because I want to talk about how absolutely messed up this is, and I think everyone in this podcast agrees with how terrible
Yeah.
this is. So
Definitely.
this comes from Stephen T. Wright from Bloomberg Tech, which is the subsidiary of Bloomberg that focuses on video games and all that sort of stuff. So he says, over the past month, Ubisoft has been embroiled in one of the largest scandals in industry history, with more than a dozen ex-employees alleging in the video game publishers is a haven of misogyny and sexual harassment. One of the most upsetting anecdotes comes early in the piece. Excuse me. In the company's Paris headquarters, during a presentation of an important game led by a woman who was out of the room at the time, Chief Creative Officer Sergey I don't know how to say that, Sergey Haskio, something like that, pulled up a YouTube video of a French song that describes sexually explicit acts with a woman with the same name as the presenter, pausing it when she comes back into the room. A racist anecdote from the publisher's Bulgarian office describes multiple staff members calling the Black Star Wars actor John Boyega a monkey. This culture of sexism seeped into the publisher's games. The report focuses on how it would affect the Assassin's Creed franchise, starting that scripts were changed in development to focus on male characters, particularly in Syndicate and Origins. According to the piece, Syndicate was supposed to feature the twins Jacob and Evie equally, though Jacob ultimately ended up with more screen time. Origins' male hero Bayek was set to be injured or killed early in the game, and the player would assume control over his wife, Aya, but that changed over the development. The latest game in the series, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, originally only allowed players to console Cassandra, a woman. However, when the members of the publisher's male-dominated editorial team said that a female protagonist wouldn't sell, players were ultimately given the choice of Cassandra or her brother Alexios. And then, so that's the article. But as I was going more in depth with this, because I really wanted to get basically all the bread and butter of the story, I found actually a former writer of Assassin's Creed. Her name is Jill Murray. She tweeted out, "The gentleman from editorial said that the protagonist must be a straight, white, alpha male, and underlined it in red marker, stamping a foot for emphasis. I was demoted over this issue and quit. I trust this cannot be interpreted as a disparaging since the studio was so proud of it." Oh, God. That is so
This
frustrating.
is the dumpster fire.
Yeah. Nat, you take it away, because I know like you were like before we started this, you were so heated. So I would like to know like what you
Yes.
think.
Oh yeah.
I just what you were describing with like the video, they playing the YouTube video, and then how they treated this awesome, like amazing actor, John Boyega. I It just blows my mind how cruel and low and ugly people can be. And like you said, like it seeps into the publishers games, and we see this. It's not something new that we're not seeing, like just in video games, but if you look anywhere, like movies, TV shows, the white male lead isn't anything new. There's And no matter how diverse the show is, there's always going to be that a lead character, that will be this heterosexual Caucasian male. And so I just think that it's limiting what the potential that these movies and TV shows and media can have by really trying to kind of change that demographic into making sure that it's one that kind of portrays whoever's consuming the media. I think that is so important because nowadays video games are not just played by, like guys, or I'm not saying that they were played by just guys earlier, but, the audience today is so diverse, and I think that they deserve to have this, representation and reaffirmation that they get from the media that they're consuming, and just the importance of diversity. It can educate against these prejudices, so stuff like that, like play the YouTube video and the name calling and crude interactions and all this stuff can be avoided because you're seeing these characters in these games, movies, TV shows, and it allows it to kind of create this familiar environment that really kind of allows these groups to be seen and learn how to interact with one another. And so I just think that when companies, have this option to have, female protagonists and knowingly, kind of shove it to the side and just focus on this male lead, I think that it really limits the storytelling and it really does a disadvantage to the people who are, playing the game, and they're losing out on these enormous opportunities to kind of tell these stories that haven't been touched upon before. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, what about you, man? What do you think about all this?
I mean, you just got to really think like this is just game developers. Imagine other institutions like
yeah.
that have greater impact on our lives than just the media. Stuff like this that comes to light always really aggravates me because how can stuff like that still persist in the year 2020? You feel like we've moved so far past these very like just terrible prejudices that have no basis for anything. It's especially in something in media where it's meant for escapism. You watch movies, you read books to escape from the real world. And if you're trying to escape from the real world and the perspective that you're forced into is that of somebody that you're not, or somebody that you can't really relate with based on somebody's idea that this protagonist in the media that you're consuming is better, and that's what you have to follow because they say so, you can't really relate to that and you can't really enjoy it as much as if you had that option for diversity. And there are a lot of games that I've seen that are implementing a lot more diversity, like the most recent Pokemon game that came out, Sword and Shield, widely hated. Won't go into that, but they definitely included a whole lot more in terms of being able to customize your own character how you feel they should be customized. Because even if you choose a male character, there are a lot of feminine options if you feel like that represents you. And I thought that was super awesome for a kids game, essentially a kids game, to include these kinds of things, and to see that big budget companies like Ubisoft are still have this closed mindset. I don't know. It's upsetting. It's aggravating. Like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, I would say Ubisoft makes some of my favorite video games, and it is it breaks my heart to know that this is happening behind the scenes. Anytime that I hear this sort of stuff, I'm so frustrated because it's just like both of y'all guys say, like, I thought we were past this. Like, I don't understand why it's so anti-female. Like, what is some of the best stories can be told from a woman's perspective, or are told from a woman's perspective. Like, just recently, The Last of Us 2. I'm not going to spoil anything for people that haven't finished it yet, but both of the protagonists in that game are female, and it is some of the most heart-wrenching, some of the best story that I absolutely love. When it comes to the Assassin's Creed franchise, I played all these games that they've talked about: Syndicate, Origins, Assassin's Creed, and what's it called, and Odyssey. I've played all of those games, and every time I was like, man, it sucks. Like, it's really weird that they like, they put the female in there, but they don't get that much attention. Like, they kind of like hint, oh, you're gonna play as them. For Origins, you play like 2 or 3 missions as Aya, near the very end of the game. And I honestly, that's some of the best storytelling that I enjoyed. When you played as Evie in Syndicate, I loved Evie. Like, because both of the characters were kind of focused on basic different aspects of the assassin, while Jacob was more brutalist. I'm gonna be more face to face and beat you up. Evie was very sneaky. So anytime that I had the choice to play Evie, I would play Evie because that's how I play, and her character was great. When it comes to Odyssey, you can definitely tell that this game was built for Cassandra, because everyone, as soon as the game came out, they're like, no one plays as Alexios. Alexios sucks. His voice actor is not the best. I'm sorry for the voice actor. It's not the best. It seemed like it was rushed. Like, his voice acting was literally just like very gruff and brutal. Like, nothing that wasn't. But when you play as Cassandra, she's tough, but she's also has a pure heart, and like, you can tell like she doesn't want to go down this path. And it just sucks that someone like has to quit their job. Like Jill Murray, she quits her job because she got demoted, because she was like, no, that's dumb. This is dumb. I'm glad that these people are out of their prospective offices and stuff like that. I'm hoping that Ubisoft decides to, I think after Valhalla, because Valhalla also does the partial, it's like you can either play Ivor, that's the main character's name, as a male or female, and you can go between like the sexes during the gameplay. I hope the next one they decide to have just one character and they just stick to it, because it's confusing. What's canon nowadays? Like, what is this canon? Like, you can't just and 2, it just sucks. Like, just man up and have a video game with a woman. Like, it's not gonna hurt you. You're not a woman for playing a video game. No one's gonna be like, oh, you play the girl, you're no. And if they are, screw them. Like, that's just dumb. But that's my 2 cents. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to say about this. If you want to get off, we can go into a little more lighter stuff. But I really just wanted to talk about this so much to bring it to light.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of covered.
Hey man, I like my women strong. Every time I start up a Dark Souls account, I choose the female character and I have them kick ass. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yes. Hell yes. Honestly, I play mostly as women too. It's more fun. I don't know. It's just like, it's more fun to see. I would rather like see a badass woman like just kick ass than just like the stereotypical like big dude. Like another Nathan Drake, or like who really cares.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on for all this, and let's talk about some money moves that's happening. So, Logic, the famous rapper that Nat did not know about.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that there was probably going to be mentioned in here.
Yeah.
I apologize.
He's a rap superstar, most notably known for his 1-800 suicide prevention song, has announced his retirement from the rap game, dropping his last album called No Pressure, and that he's going to it's actually going to be released tomorrow, so if y'all guys want to listen to it, probably at midnight they'll probably drop. Definitely check it out.
Okay.
But he is now signing a deal with Twitch to stream exclusively for 7 figures. Like, that is absolutely crazy to me. Like, that this person just like,
can we stream for 7 figures? Can we do a podcast for 7 figures? That'd be nice.
Twitch, please message me individually, or go to the Geekday podcast and just message us. Nat will take care of all the paperwork.
Yeah. For 7 figures, I will. Yeah.
That'll get 2 of those figures. Dude, that is absolutely crazy. Like, my thing is, like, is it a substitute for Dr. Disrespect? Because I don't know if you guys know what's happening with Dr. Disrespect or not. If you're aware of that.
I did not know. Is he officially off of Twitch? I know that
he's
it had
officially
been a little
banned from Twitch.
Boom.
Yeah.
But
so basically,
when did this happen?
This happened about 2 weeks ago. He was on stream when he found out that well, it's like speculation. It looks
Mm-hmm.
like he gets a text message saying like some really bad news, and you can obviously see it in his face. And for like the next 10, 15 minutes, he was just thanking his chat and was just saying, "Thank you guys for being here. I got some really weird news," and like he was just being super weird until he finally ended the stream. And then finally, like his just channel was just like completely messed up. And so people have been speculating like what has been going on. So finally, he announced that he's going to be moving from Twitch to YouTube. And then he's also going to be streaming on his own website. He wants to bring all those people just directly towards him. That whole situation's weird because he isn't the most
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. I get what
most
you're putting
pure of
down.
individuals.
Yeah.
He's been shrouded in controversy since he admitted cheating on his wife and got banned for taking his Twitch chat into a men's restroom and stuff like that. But he also does really nice things to where he did a fundraiser for Black Lives Matter and told people if they weren't for it to get out of his chat. So like that's where I'm kind of conflicted about that. So like my whole thing is Logic kind of like compensation for Doctor Disrespect? Do you think like that would bring in the same audience?
Um, I don't know, honestly. I mean, I whenever it comes to, like singers or celebrities or just like famous people going into these, I like to think of them kind of like people platforms, like Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that, where it was just, like regular people who kind of like started off and then just kind of grew from there. I always feel like I'm 50-50 on the issue when it comes to welcoming in these famous people, that already have these huge backgrounds and have lots of money and success and coming into these things. I feel like it would bring more people to it, but also I just feel bad for all the people that stream video games, that grind, that work daily, that and are working their butts off to kind of get to where they are today, rather as opposed to just welcoming in this person that, well, not just this person, but welcoming in Logic with, oh, here's 7 figures, come on, come join us on Twitch. So I don't know, I'm like,
Yeah, Dan, what
I
about you,
say
man?
that, but I don't know.
No, I totally agree. I don't know a single thing about Logic. That's not my type of music, but just the meshing, the interconnected forms of media with something like this just seems very ingenuine.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wouldn't be streaming because he wants to stream, because he enjoys the interaction with his chat, or maybe even the games that he's playing. It's for the fact that they offered him 7 figures. And I feel like, well, when you get big, you do it to make money. Obviously you're trying to make money from, like, I'm talking about streamers. um that just, I don't know, it seems dirty, it seems gross, it seems ingenuine. And I myself, as an unbiased person, would probably not want to watch a streamer who I knew was doing this solely because he was paid a lot of money.
Mm.
And because what if he doesn't have a good like personality, or he can't keep the chat engaged, and he doesn't know how to hold a conversation with the chat and keep things interesting.
Yeah.
What's the point of watching then?
Yeah, we got a couple of
Exactly.
people in the chat. So, Baby Bubble says, unpopular opinion, Logic is overrated and doesn't deserve the hype he gets because he isn't the best person. Ranger
Yeah.
Blue says, Logic is for the music market. And then Baby Bubbles also brings up a very interesting point. Literally, Brandon Urie of Panic at the Disco streams not for the money. All of it goes to his Highest Hopes Foundation. So that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I know a bunch of like stars that do stream on Twitch, but they like Jordan Fisher, who he does Broadway. He's been on some Disney Channel
It's so
stuff.
good.
He's so like
Yeah.
he's amazing, and he streams, and all of his money like he doesn't like keep all of it. He keeps some of it, but he doesn't keep all of it. He does mostly for foundations and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If Logic was doing that, I completely understand. But kind of like Nat said, the people that are grinding day in and day out, they're like, please get me partner. Please get like like us, we're grinding to get affiliate right now.
Oh yeah.
We're trying to get affiliate, but it's like people that grind, and we're like, we have this passion to like do this. Like we're just kind of getting like, oh, hey, what about us? Like that's people that are just getting the easy route, and unfortunately that's how it happens at some point. Yeah, Logic has enough money. I just think that because it's been really weird, these like, we've had streaming wars, kind of like Peacock and HBO Max and all that sort of stuff, but now we're having like actual streaming wars between streaming platforms like Facebook, rest in peace Mixer, Twitch, and then YouTube. So I guess that's why they're like, hey, don't go stream anywhere else, like stream exclusively with Twitch, we'll give you 7 figures. But I personally, I don't think he's worth the 7 figures. I know Logic himself, he's a very funny dude, but I kind of, that sucks. But like, yeah. My thing is, if you could get someone to stream like on Twitch and like get paid for it, who would you guys want to see stream? Like who would you like? Do you have any like superstars you're like, oh man, I would love to see them stream personally?
It would never happen in a million years, but I would love to see Danny DeVito do a let's play, a long let's play.
Hilarious. That'd be so good. Like I know like Bernie Sanders like did some streaming also. I was really
yeah, that's right, he did. I remember that going around. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm trying to think too.
I don't know. I really can't think of like a person. I don't know.
I would say David Diggs. I would love David Diggs from like
it's a good one.
Yeah, he's like super funny, super compassionate dude. I would love to see him like as like a streamer, like as like doing like music, because they have like the music genre on Twitch, and then also like he's just funny. He's like just a funny dude. If you ever listen to any interviews or anything like that with him.
I think I would probably want Brie Larson to do a charity stream. I think she has a big platform. I feel like she would be able to bring in a lot of people. She just started a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. I was like iffy on like celebrities, but she's not getting paid. She just started. She had like only like 40,000 subscribers, I think. Like the last time I checked, which is probably because nobody knows she's on there. But she plays Animal Crossing, which I also play Animal Crossing, and so I would love to see if she were to kind of show off her island. I feel like she could do a charity stream. We could all have a good time. It'd be really great.
I had no idea she started a YouTube channel. That's awesome.
Yeah, she like announced it really interesting. She's like, I have an announcement tomorrow, and then like the next day she's like it's like a one of like the intro videos that like most streamers have, where it's like it has like the music and like it shows like little clips of her doing stuff. It's really cool. It's very very cool.
Cool. I gotta check that out then.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely check it out. So let's go on to something a little bit more spicier. I know me and Nat have very interesting opinions about this next story. The Legend of Korra is coming to Netflix. Like a month ago, we got Avatar: The Last Airbender. We got the movie, and we're like, oh, everyone's kind of like, oh, is Legend of Korra going to be coming? They announced it that Legend of Korra is going to be starting to stream on August 14th, and the fan base is divided immediately. Like even Netflix, like people have been going to ham in the comments. Even Netflix responded in a tweet, and I thought it was hilarious. They said, it's almost as if Aang and Korra are completely different characters with completely different struggles and completely different issues to overcome their lives and personality complexes and stories. Are we fans of Korra? Like, are y'all like? I know Dan hasn't really seen Korra. He said he started it when like it first came around. But like, are we excited? Are like, like, are we fans of Korra? Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Korra. I saw all the seasons. I binged them all. First season's super good. Second season sucks. And then the third season is really good, and the fourth season is let's call it. Baby Bubble says you have to think of Korra as a new show, not a follow-up to Avatar. But the thing is, if it has the Avatar name, hi Dracula. If it has the Avatar name, like it's.
Let's interject and say hi, everybody. This is my cat Dracula.
Hi Dracula.
Very curious.
Chat's gonna get some hi Draculas, please.
Yeah, get hi Dracula in the chat, please.
Hey, when we get affiliate, we can make a Dracula emote. How's that sound?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh hell yeah, let's do it.
um, I said, yeah. I mean, like it's super interesting. I'm going to rewatch it. I will watch it. I recently just redid my Avatar rewatch, but Dan, being someone that hasn't really had very much like you've seen like the yeah, sure, whatever.
Oh yeah.
How divided the fan
division between
the division.
There we go. That's the word. I hate my mouth. Anyways, like what are you like? Is this motivating you to like make you actually want to watch it, or?
Well, so unlike most people our age, I was never super hardcore into Avatar Last Airbender. I watched it. I watched most of it actually. Just, when it showed up on Nicktoons and stuff like that. And I liked it a lot. It's really interesting. I love the art style. I love how it's both Western and Eastern at the same time. The story is great. The characters are compelling. The voice acting is fantastic. It's just all so good. And I remember when they announced Legend of Korra, I was was I maybe like 13 or something like that?
Came out in 2012, and so
2012. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I was like 15. But either way, I watched the first couple of episodes and I thought it was cool that it was a sequel to Last Airbender. But nothing else really kind of grabbed at me. Like Korra didn't grab at me. The new world, the new stuff that they tried to introduce didn't really like pop out, and nothing just really excited me all that much like Avatar. Like I sat through an episode of Avatar when I first started watching it and I was like, whoa, that was interesting. I want to know what happens next. Didn't feel the same way with Korra. I think maybe this time around, now knowing that the fan base is so divided, I may take the time to watch Korra all the way through to see exactly why people feel so divided and come up with my own conclusions, and then maybe eventually reveal my opinions on the podcast. So
yeah.
Nat, what about you?
Okay, when Legend of Korra was gonna come out, I was so excited. Me and my siblings had watched all of Avatar The Last Airbender. We would wake up even early in the mornings on the weekends, when they would show those like reruns on Saturday morning. We would wake up, or even during the week too, before we went to school, we would wake up early. We just fell completely in love with the series and the world that was, Avatar The Last Airbender. And so when Korra came along, I was really excited. And then I watched it, and the first season, like you said, Robert, was pretty good. It wasn't, I know someone in the chat said to like, you should watch it as like a new show and not compare it and all that stuff, but it's really hard not to do that when you see these connections between the two different shows. It's like a continuation, and yes, it's a new story, but I just think that it didn't hit the mark for me. Season 2 was just like garbage. I want to say it was not good. It was so bad, and I feel like it was just completely like tarnished this perfect world that like I had in my head. It just wasn't good, and it was a continuation that I just didn't feel reached its full extent. I feel like it was constantly, kind of almost they would give us little bits and pieces that I was like, ooh, I like this, I like that, but then it would just not go anywhere. And there were the first season, with I believe it's Amon, right, or something like that.
Something like that. Amon,
yeah. What's his like premise? When I heard the premise of the first season, seeing the conflict between non-benders and benders, I was like, oh, I've never thought about that. That's interesting. That's such an interesting take on what exactly would happen in this world. And then, they did a pretty good job. I feel like it could have been done a little better. And I was like, okay. And then the second season came along and I was like, yeah, no, I just don't like this. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I finished the series. I think I got to season 3, and there's 4 seasons, I believe,
there's
right?
4 seasons, yes.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched the last season, or maybe I've seen pieces of it. Maybe I watched it and I just blocked it out of my memory. But I was just disappointed. There's a few gems in there. There's these new characters.
I love the new
like,
characters. That's it.
yeah, but I don't know. I just think that Cora herself wasn't strong enough for me to be able to kind of carry the show on their back. I just feel like it didn't have enough depth and heart that I hate to compare it to Avatar: The Last Airbender, but there was so much heart and character building and these complex arcs and all these different stories, and I just feel like the Legend of Korra kind of lacked in that part.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I just think it's completely insane that they change a lot of the actual Avatar like story, where they changed how
Yes,
like
yeah.
benders bend. Like they talk about in like the last Airbender. Oh, airbenders learned how to bend from air bison. Earthbenders learned how to bend from badger moles. And waterbenders from the moon, and they completely change it in season 2 of Legend of Korra. They're like, oh no, that's not how it happened. I mean, like kind of, but not really. And then I don't want to spoil anything. We're not going to talk about major spoilers. People haven't seen it yet, but the major thing that happens in season 2. But the one thing that I will say that I really like about Legend of Korra is that each one of her villains is awesome. I will say that her villains are really, really good. Amun is a fantastic villain. Season 2, the guy, there's 2 villains. He's pretty good. Season 3, Korra is so completely distraught from season 2 that like she's in a completely different mindset. And then season 4, that villain's interesting because there's a weird conflict with like the Earth Kingdom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll rewatch it because my memory is very fuzzy, and maybe I'll feel a little bit better towards the idea of like what what the show is. I'll probably give it more of a benefit of a doubt than what I was like maybe 4 years ago when I watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Kiddo Granger says that's true about Heart. Avatar: The Last Airbender was about strong friendships, while The Legend of Korra tended to focus on romantic relationships.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree with that.
There's a very interesting romantic triangle that changes in season 4, and you're kind of like, ooh. I mean, like it's cool, but at the same time, you're like, ooh, I don't. They kind of jumped the shark on that one. Like it would have been cool to see the build up to the whole change in the romantic relationship, but it was just like, oh hey. But anyways, we're going a little long today, so I don't know if you want to.
That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem.
Y'all guys got time? Because I mean, we can keep going.
I got time.
All right, cool.
Yes.
You got time. So this next one, me and Dan are gonna nerd out hardcore.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it, Rob.
So it is being rumored that Donald Glover will be returning as Lando Calrissian for his own Disney Plus show. So Kessel Run Transmissions, which is a Star Wars podcast, broke the news about the Bad Batch series. Like they're the ones that like leaked it. They said in their podcast that Donald Glover is in talks with Disney Plus to return as Lando Calrissian for his own Disney Plus show. Dan, are you excited about this? Like, do you think we really need a Lando Calrissian show, especially with like Donald Glover, or like what's your idea about that?
Do we need a show with Donald Glover as Lando? No, absolutely not. But do you need dessert when you go to a restaurant? No, absolutely not. It's just a sweet thing that you want to indulge in. Solo gets a lot of, kind of like Legend of Korra. It's divisive. You love it, you hate it. I personally like it. I like Solo a whole lot. I really don't understand. Okay, how Han Solo got his name.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Yeah.
That's pretty weird. I don't appreciate that. Everything else about the movie, I really did enjoy. I thought it was a great time. Every time I watch it, I have a great time. Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie. Come on.
God, dude. He was awesome. So good.
That's awesome. And of course, Donald Glover as Lando. Like that was just so perfect. As soon as I heard that he was being cast as Lando for Solo, I thought this guy's got it. He's gonna do such a fantastic job as Lando. He's gonna capture that same charisma as Billy D. Williams in Empire Strikes Back. He's gonna capture. He's gonna do it great. And sure enough, he did. And while this is definitely news to me, I just found out about it like right before we started filming.
Yeah.
It's a very in Palpatine's words, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Uh, I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be really awesome. I really wanted to see more of his Lando, and I wasn't sure if we were gonna get that because of the divisiveness of the movie. I didn't think they were gonna explore that era of Star Wars a little bit more, kind of around the gangsters and syndicates and all that stuff. But knowing that we're gonna get him more of him as Lando, I think that's gonna be really cool. And I think he's gonna have a great time doing it because you could tell he was having a great time just kind of
yeah.
overreacting, kind of like how Lando does.
I'm gonna say something a little controversial. I enjoyed Solo. I really did. I really liked Solo. I wasn't the biggest fan of Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian.
Really?
I think he was every time that he kind of like so when he was like Billy Dean Williams esque, he was really good. But kind of like when you said like he's being over dramatic, I didn't see Lando. I saw Troy from Community, where like Troy's very like over dramatic and like more he's like oh my god, like he has like those vocal fries and phrase and stuff like that, and I was like, oh god, that's Troy. That's not Lando. And sometimes I think he was a little too charismatic, but he tried to be the more charismatic sort of thing, and like at the end of the day, it works. I love like he has a whole like cape collection in his in the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. At the end of the day, he's good, but I don't think he was the best. Kind of like Alden Ehrenreich. He was good, but I think there could have probably been a better Han Solo. That's why like when I do rate what's called Solo my Star Wars movies, I'll put it like mid tier. Like I'll put it above Rise of Skywalker. like it's a good movie, but it's like So like when I heard that they're making
most honestly.
Yeah. When I saw that it's being like talked about him getting his own show, I was like, that's a lot of Star Wars shows if you think about it.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's like it's Mandalorian. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's we're getting Bad Batch. We're gonna be getting what's called. I was like Donald Glover. No, now we're getting Lando Calrissian.
But when is this supposed to be? I'm sorry. When is this supposed to be added, or where is it gonna be?
Oh, it hasn't even started production yet. Like it's just like in talks. Yeah.
Okay.
So probably years down the road, like maybe a year or two down the road. So it's just like leaked, like hey, kind of like Kenobi. Like Kenobi's kind of like filming, but like it's also kind of postponed at the same time. But Dan, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget we also have the Cassian Andor show coming too.
That's true.
The guy from Rogue One.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think that I would be more interested in the Cassian Andor show than a Lando Calrissian show. It's like, what are we gonna follow?
I think so too. Because of the way that he presented the character of like this rebel who fights for the freedom of the galaxy, but he also says, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old, and like you don't know the things that I've done for this fight, and I think that's that's an interesting perspective for the quote unquote good guys of Star Wars, like to see them do things that are probably morally incorrect for the greater good, and I'd really want to see something like that. But as far as Lando goes, I just want to see more Donald Glover as Lando.
Donald Glover doing anything, honestly. Donald Glover's fantastic.
Yeah. He is.
I know, like when you're saying about the casting Andor thing, when I remember watching Rogue One for the first time, and Cassian gets the information from that fellow rebel. And the rebel's hurt. He's like, dude, I can't do this. I can't do this. He's like, okay, yeah, 1 second, and kills him, and escapes. And I was like, that is the Star Wars that I want. It's like I love Jedi's, don't get me wrong, but I want more like syndicate stuff. I want like we got Dryden Voss, and we got stuff like I want that really cool underground sort of stuff that we're kind of getting with Mandalorian. But Mandalorian, I'm still kind of iffy. Nick the Knack says Lando's an extremely interesting and charismatic character who has great moments in the films with his charm and wit, but I wonder how it will translate from a short film from short film moments to a full show revolving around him. And that's exactly my thing. He's a very bit part in Solo where it's kind of like how would it be of 30 an hour of that, you know?
Hmm.
But I think we've talked a lot about Donald Glover. So let's just go ahead and brush this past this next one. Ghost of Tsushima had a Metacritic hold. So I know Nat doesn't know what Ghost of Tsushima is,
No,
but
I don't know.
so after the ratings bomb that happened on Last of Us 2, Metacritic has put in basically precautions of a week-long hold of user scores towards the Ghost of Tsushima. They even put up a quote, like a thing saying, please take time to play the game for about a week before you put your score in." Because what
Ooh.
happened when The Last of Us came out, immediately it got review bombed since it was leaked and stuff like that. And I think it went down all the way to like a 2.2. But it's now
Dang.
like climbed back up. So, excuse me. Ghost of Tsushima is currently at a Metacritic score of 83 and a user score of 9.2, while Last of Us 2 has a Metacritic score of 94 with a current user score of 5.5. Last of Us 2 is not that bad. So I just wanted to talk about that. It's actually a really great game. Um, but so like, do you think that's really interesting about the whole like Ghost of Tsushima? Like, they put a hold on a game after like one gets completely like. Do you think that's like smart, or do you think that's like hurting more of the like integrity of like, because Metacritic is kind of like Rotten Tomatoes, where it kind of aggregates all the scores given by the media, and then it's like, hey, also put your own rating, and basically y'all guys will have your own rating right here. So like, what do y'all guys think about a week hold on a game?
I didn't even know that that was a thing. Is this the first time that they've like done this? They
Mm-hmm.
put the week hold on there? I mean, I kind of see where they're coming from, give people some get over kind of that like first impression, kind of allow them to kind of explore the world a little bit, see the mechanics of the game. But I don't know, I kind of think like people can always just go back and like edit their comments. I mean, I don't know how many people actually do that, but if they like really do love it, then they can always do that. I feel like kind of, I don't know if I don't know, that might, I kind of see it like it might infringe like upon the person's right to kind of just share the game. But I'm an optimist in that people are gonna be not just completely bashing it and being like, oh, really take time to think their comments through and really enjoy the game and see exactly what doesn't work, what does work. So I don't know.
Oh, to be in Nat's head and be an optimist.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would love
I live in this
that.
amazing world, right? Where, because that's definitely reality. So I don't know.
What about you, Dan? What you think about this?
I love Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. I thought, wait, no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Neo 2, right?
I hate you.
No, wait, we're not talking about Neo 2. We're talking about Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, the other samurai game. No, I think it's a really great idea because it. I just couldn't understand why people were giving this game so much flack, and also Last of Us 2 before even playing it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know this whole story of The Last of Us 2. I don't know the whole story about Ghost of Tsushima. That's because I want to play through Ghosts myself. I don't know when I'm going to get it. Money's a little tight right now. But eventually I want to go through it and play it as, for myself, see how I like it. Last of Us 2, we'll see. But I think it's a really I think it's a really great idea that they're saying, "Hey, we're not going to allow reviews until people have had a week to play the game and actually have a detailed opinion and why they have that opinion, to say this is why I give it that score." Now there are still, you can't filter out all the idiots, you're still going to get those who are still going to give it a bad score for no reason. Um, but I think it's a great idea. And like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the game yet. The one thing that I'm a little iffy about in terms of the gameplay is I heard that there's not a lock on mechanic to lock onto enemies. And as a avid Dark Souls and Bloodborne fan, that does make me feel a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're having a third person perspective gameplay with like hand-to-hand combat weapons or like sword weapons, I feel like a lock-on is necessary. And again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know if the gameplay revolves around a certain type of mechanic that doesn't need a lock on, but that does have me a little bit worried about how it performs in terms of fluidity and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like kind of like you said, like it's good. I like that they put a week a hold on this. I don't think I think a week is a little long. Maybe like 4 or 5 days or something like that to after the game comes out, because I know like when I get a new game, I beat it like that. It's just because like if the story is enthralling enough, like I beat Last of Us 2 in 3 days. It was a long 3 days. It was a very long 3 days. Just because of how that game is set up. It's like I said, it's not a bad game. It's just a very long, tedious, heart wrenching game. So it's kind of like forcing yourself to play this game. But like I try to beat these games as fast as I can, just because like I want to be in the talks. I want to be in the know-how of like all these people have had the games before. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this person thinks this person thinks this. So like, what is X, Y, and Z? Let's have this sort of discourse. But if you're going to like the main reason why you're putting a score up is because you want to bomb a game because you don't like it, that's completely stupid to me. Like it's so
Yeah.
idiotic to me that it's if you're just upset because XYZ happens in a game, like especially I'm talking about Last of Us right now. Um, you're just upset about that one thing, but you don't think of the greater ramifications of like how things happen to like this character and helps them grow, or it deteriorates them. You know, like either or, and you just I don't think Americans have a really good storytelling like brain. Like there's some companies that like it. I mean, like if you think like the Japanese and like Europeans, they have like they tell fantastic stories because they're not like bookmarked into like the American like here is the what's called the plot structure or whatever. Like sometimes they boom bam boom 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 like just whatever, and Americans just hate that, so they'll just bomb that. Um, but I'm glad that they did this couple of day hold. Like I said, shorten it next time, and then what's up? But yeah, I think it should happen for all games. Just all games, all movies. Just like take time to actually know what you're talking about, because there's nothing more annoying to me than someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. Just like talk smack about something. Um, Educate yourself, and then I'll debate with you. If you're just like talking out of your butt and you're just like I don't. It makes me mad. Anyways, last but not least, let's go ahead and knock this out. San Diego Comic Con at home starts today. It starts today. It's actually happening right now. So after the show, please stay for the rest of the show. Uh, go to IGN on Twitch, and they're doing a whole thing with Comic Con. Yeah, so it says right here that Comic Con itself tweeted out hashtag Comic Con at home is finally here. Collaborator and sponsors at IGN will stream roughly 34 Comic Con at home paddles, as well as produce extensive shoulder content, hold interviews, and more, all in support of the online initiative. Stay tuned for all the fun. Um, what are our expectations? I know Nat has gone like hardcore into this because both me and Dan are like, we don't know anything about this. I popped in right before the stream because they were talking about the new Yakuza game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I was like, it looks different. But that's a whole different conversation for that. But Nat, can you tell us a little bit about what you learned about I was gonna say IGN about Comic Con at home?
Yeah, so, because of COVID, it's really had this huge impact on, community gatherings, and Comic Con is one of the biggest, gatherings in, I want to say, the country. When you think about geek stuff, you think about Comic Con. And so, um, they decided that they would do Comic Con at home. And so it's the first time that, Comic Con is completely free. You don't have to travel. You don't have to be crowded with a whole bunch of other people. Um, and you can watch it from the comfort of your home. And so I think it's really neat. I think that they're going to have, I believe, like over 300 panels by the end of the week. It starts today, and it continues on for a whole week. And every day they're going to be having different panels, different themes for, talking anything between comic books to movies to just actors and acting in Hollywood. And so I think that if you have a chance throughout the week, look at the schedule, and I can tweet that so that way you guys have that for you in your back pocket. But yeah, there's going to be lots of exciting panels. There's going to be, like I said, some that I'm excited about. There's going to be a New Mutants panel, which I'm pretty sure hopefully they will announce that it's coming to Disney Plus. But the actors will be there. So like Maisie Williams, Charlie Heaton, and others, all those people. They're going to have an Adventure Time panel about, distant lands and BMO. And so they're going to have a Walking Dead panel, which I know that show's been on for forever, but they are starting a new one. And it's Walking Dead: The World Beyond. And so we're going to get some new information and some new stuff out of that. And exciting, they're going to have a Constantine. I believe it's Saturday at 12 p.m. And so it's in celebration, of the 2005 Constantine film. And Keanu Reeves will be joining the panel. So I think that one's going to be really exciting. I personally really like that movie. I've made my boyfriend officially watch that movie just recently. He wasn't too crazy about it, I don't think, but I enjoy it. So there's panels for anything and everyone, and I think that this is a good way to kind of have your Comic-Con fix for those of us who haven't been able to go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Has anyone ever in this chat, in chat also here, but like here, ever been to a Comic-Con? Like not necessarily San Diego, but to a single Comic-Con? I went to the Alamo City Comic-Con here in San Antonio. But...
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. I always say that I'm going to go, but I have not gone.
What about you, Dan?
I actually went to the San Antonio Comic-Con in 2015, and conventions are awesome. Like there's so many cool things to see. So many cosplayers, so many awesome expensive items to look at, not necessarily buy, but
yeah, it's like, oh, that would be nice to have money.
But that was actually the summer right before I moved here to San Antonio, and I was reading the advertisement for it, and they said like the big guest stars were Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, which, if you don't know, are the original Generation 1 voices of Optimus Prime and Megatron. Mm-hmm. And as stated in the last podcast, I'm a huge Transformers fan, and they don't ever do conventions together. So to have them both in one convention was just like mind-blowing. So I had to go. I begged my parents, like, please, we gotta go. Like, this has got to be a thing that I go to. And so I had the opportunity to meet Frank Welker, shook his hand, had him sign a comic book for me, and we took a picture. And then subsequent to that was a panel with both Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, where they talked about working together, different things that they've individually worked on, their past experiences, how they became voice actors, and all that kind of stuff. And it was just a really great experience, along with seeing all the stuff that they had for sale at the actual convention. So it was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend anyone to ever. I know Zach, Nat's brother, said that he has not been to one either. Definitely. I mean, I was like, it's not gonna happen this year, but yeah, definitely next year. Right. When the world is not completely like gone to shit. Definitely go visit any Comic-Con, because Comic-Cons are super fun. I know last time I went was, I think, 2016, either 2015 or 2016 actually. That there was a huge ass Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle car in the middle of like the show floor, and like there was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out and like taking pictures. And Master Shredder was there. It was like super cool. Like I was like, oh, that's real. It's literally as soon as you walk in, it was right there.
That's cool.
I would definitely recommend, if you have just the spare cash or try to win a prize, like try to get into at least one. It doesn't have to be SDCC because that's super expensive, but go ahead and just geek out with the people in your city, or travel somewhere that's pretty close, because it's always great to just be around like-minded people, because it's just so great to see all the cosplayers and stuff like that. But at the end of the story, we are now done. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on the Geek Day podcast. If you guys missed the awesome little game that we started to play today, Geekday Civil War, go ahead and just go to our YouTube. Just type in the Geek Day podcast. It should show up. And this VOD's going to be up there. It's like the first 20 minutes of the show. You can watch us, or you can watch Dan and Nat go head to head and see them just go at a draw. But
I was right the whole time. I was right.
If you guys want to help break the draw, go ahead and please go to the at Geekday Podcast below, like on Twitter, and we're gonna have a poll on there. It's gonna say which is the worst Spider-Man movie. Whoever wins that is gonna get the extra point and break the tie. Is it Venom or is it Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Y'all know it's Amazing Spider-Man 2.
But yes, please go ahead and follow us. We're also, a little bit of news, we're on the path to affiliates. We're actually almost at 50 followers. We're at 43. I would like to give a little shout out to the followers actually that just came in today. We got DM Azuka, Gizmo Ham 9000, and Iggy Flump. All great names.
Shout out to Gizmo Ham. That's my brother.
Oh, thank you, Gizmo Ham.
Right.
But thank you so much again for watching us. Please tell your friends and family to follow us. As soon as we get there, we can start trying to make this a little bit more interesting. We want to branch out as much as we can. So again, thank you so much. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our Facebook. Follow us here on Twitch. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us literally everywhere. But thank you again, and y'all guys stay geeky.